The Senate will come to order. Mr. Schaffler, please call the roll.
Senators Amabile,
Excused.
Baisley, Ball, Benavidez, Bridges,
Excused.
Bright, Carson, Catlin, Cutter, Danielson, Doherty, Exum, Frizzell, Gonzalez, Hendrickson, Judah, Kipp, Kirkmeyer,
Excused.
Kolker,
Excused.
Lindsted, Liston, Marchman, Mullica, Pelton B,
Excused.
Pelton R, Rich, Roberts, Rodriguez, Simpson, Snyder, Sullivan, Wallace, Weissman, Zamora Wilson. Mr. President.
Let's do this. The morning roll call is 30 present, 0 absent, 5 excused. We have a quorum. Would someone else other than Senator Pelton B like to do the pledge this morning? Oh, Mr. Majority. Senator Frizzell. Would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Good morning, members. Please join me in honoring our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the journal. Would somebody other than Senator Bridges like to do the approval of the journal? Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate Journal of yesterday, Monday, the 4th of May, be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that motion is adopted. Senate Services.
Correctly printed, Senate Bill 190, 191, and 192. Correctly engrossed, Senate Bill 115 and 152. Senate Joint Resolution 25. Correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bill 3, 175, 177, and 182. Correctly revised, House Bill 1076, 1123, 1207, 1226, and 1322. House Joint Resolution 1030. Correctly re-revised, House Bill 1010, 1109, 1113, 1143, 1235, 1252, 1299, 1343, and 1346. Correctly enrolled, Senate Bill 51 and 132.
Committee reports.
Committee on Transportation and Energy, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1420 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation and with the recommendation that it be placed on the consent calendar. House Bill 1269 be amended as follows, and if so amended, be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. House Bill 1225 be amended as follows, and if so amended, be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on Judiciary, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1256 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. House Bill 1276 be amended as follows, and if so amended, be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. House Bill 1256 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations.
Mr. Schaffler, please add Senator Bridges to the roll. Conference Committee reports. In response to a request from the House for a conference committee on House Bill 1184, the Senate conferees are Senator Cutter, Chair, Marchman, and Baisley on the first conference committee of House Bill 1184. Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request the Conference Committee on House Bill 1184 be given permission to go beyond the scope of differences between the two houses.
The motion for the body is to grant permission to the conferees in the first conference committee on House Bill 1184 to go beyond the scope of the differences between the two houses. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. What? The ayes have it, and that permission is granted. In response to a request from the House for a conference committee on House Bill 1258, the Senate conferees are Senator Roberts, Chair, Henriksen, and Pelton are on the first conference committee on House Bill 1258. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request that the Conference Committee on House Bill 1258 be given permission to go beyond the scope of the differences between the two houses.
The motion of the body is to grant permission to the conferees in the first conference committee on House Bill 1258 to go beyond the scope of the differences between the two houses. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and permission is granted. Mr. Schaffler, please add Senator Amabile to the roll and Kirkmeyer to the roll.
Majority Leader Rodriguez.
You haven't got it yet. I'm going on to resolutions. No, you're going to be after thirds. I'll do whatever you say. You won't. Did you call me?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, well, never mind. Thank you for the discussion. Guess what, colleagues? It's been a while. We have the opportunity to hear from our glorious leader out of order. So I just want everybody to pay attention, sit down until he tells you to stand up. The motion is to proceed out of order for moments of personal privilege.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Yay. All those opposed, no. No. The ayes definitely have it, and the Senate will proceed out of order for a rare moment of personal privilege. Whoops. Senator President Coleman.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I request a not rare moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Members, the Correctional Officers and Employees Week gives us a moment to recognize the professionals who carry out one of the most difficult responsibilities in public service. Every day, they show up in environments most people will never see, maintaining safety, order, and dignity under constant pressure. Here in this building, we often debate numbers, capacity, and policy. Those conversations matter, but behind every line item and every decision are real people doing real work, often without recognition, sometimes in the midst of competing priorities beyond their control. The men and women in our correctional system are steady in ways that don't always make headlines. They adapt, they endure, and they serve with professionalism in a system that asks a great deal of them. This week and every week, we recognize their commitments to public safety and to the communities that we all serve. The first date I ever took Shayna on, I knocked on her door and I said, "Hey, I'm here to take Shayna out on a date." And her dad said, "Great, let's all step outside and take pictures." And when we stepped outside, I looked up and it was just me. standing up against the garage. And I said, is Shayna coming for the picture? And he said, no, just you. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, I just want you to know, man, I got you. And I got people watching. So have her back at this time. And then I got in the car with Shayna, because I was too young to drive. My brother was driving us. And I said, hey, what does your dad do for a living? And she said, he's the warden of the prison in Denver. And I said, you know, when I asked you to date me, you could have maybe led with that and shared with me that that's what he did. So yeah, I had a great deal of fear and respect for this man. But I was really shown how great of an individual he was when he unfortunately passed away in 2013. We went to his funeral and the church was packed, full of individuals that he led in the Department of Corrections, but also full of people who were prior incarcerated, who said that they had never been treated with such dignity and respect the way that he treated them. And I'm grateful for his example, which is in part why you might hear me talk a lot about the importance of reentry and prison recidivism, because that was my father-in-law. And so I'm very grateful to the individuals who do this work. We do have individuals here on the floor, just so that I don't get fined. And in case there are individuals somewhere else in the building that might be in this chamber, which is probably due a fine, I'm more than happy to accept that, Madam President. But just want to say thank you to you all being here. And if you happen to be anywhere in this chamber, but in particular right here, please stand to be recognized. Members, help me join those folks who work for our Department of Corrections.
Please add Senator Colker to the roll. And please add Senator Pelton B to the roll. And I'm going to fine you $5, Mr. President, but I got you because I have some credit over there. So it's not to you, it's to me.
Thank you so much, Madam President.
Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, I just wanted to join in the recognition of our correctional officers. As someone who did not get a mugshot on the first date with his wife, but hey, since I represent Fremont County, which includes territorial prisons and the Supermax, and Chaffee County, which also has a significant prison over there. That's just a big portion, a big part of my district, and I just want to express appreciation for all that you guys do. Thank you for the respect that you show the inmates that you take care of, knowing that they are all living a troubled life. You need to keep them where they are and to show them the dignity that they also deserve at the same time. We thank you and appreciate you so much for all the work that you do and your professionalism. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam President.
Thank you. You're not getting fined for that. It's okay. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, we have another opportunity to hear from the good senator from Denver. The motion is to proceed out of order for a consideration of resolutions.
Thank you. You have heard the motion to proceed out of order for consideration of resolutions. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes definitely have it. The motion is adopted. We will proceed out of order. Consideration of resolutions. Will the clerk please read the title of SR 008?
Senate Resolution 008 by Senators Catlin and Coleman concerning the recognition of the 125th anniversary of Western Colorado University.
Who would like to go first? Senator Catlin.
Thank you, Madam President. I move SR 26-008 and ask that it be read at length.
Will the clerk please read SR 008 at length?
Whereas Western Colorado University was founded in 1901 in Gunnison, Colorado as the Colorado State Normal School, becoming the first institution of higher education on Colorado's western slope. And whereas for 125 years, Western Colorado University has served the students, families, and communities of the Gunnison Valley and the broader western slope, evolving from a small teachers' college into a comprehensive public university offering undergraduate and graduate programs across the arts, sciences, business, education, and environmental studies. And whereas the institution's evolution from Colorado State Normal School to Western State College in 1923 and ultimately to Western Colorado University reflects its expanding academic mission and enduring commitment to the region it serves. And whereas Western Colorado University plays a vital role in advancing Colorado's workforce by preparing graduates in high-demand fields, including education, the health sciences, natural resource management, business, and outdoor industry leadership, while maintaining a strong emphasis on experiential and place-based learning. And whereas the university is home to the nation's only collegiate mountain rescue team, founded in 1968, whose members serve the Gunnison Valley and exemplify Western's commitment to service, leadership, and outdoor stewardship. And whereas Western Colorado University's athletics program have produced national champions and Olympians, including a nationally recognized ski team, multiple NCAA championship wrestling and cross-country teams, and a storied football program contributing to the university's proud tradition of excellence. And whereas the university's campus and surrounding landscape, including the iconic W on Tenderfoot Mountain, the historic Leslie J. Savage Library, and the Rady Family Sports Complex, reflect generations of investment by students, alumni, faculty, and community members who have shaped Western's enduring character. And whereas Western Colorado University continues to build on its legacy through a forward-looking strategic plan and innovative programs such as engineering through its partnership with the University of Colorado Boulder, and a commitment to hands-on, place-based learning that addresses the challenge and opportunities facing rural and mountain communities. And whereas Western's traditions and culture foster a strong sense of community and belonging, connecting generations of mountaineers to one another and to the Gunnison Valley. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 75th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, 1, that the Colorado Senate hereby recognizes and celebrates the 125th anniversary of Western Colorado University and honors its enduring contributions to higher education, workforce development, and community vitality across the Western Slope and the state of Colorado. 2, that the Colorado Senate commends the students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community supporters whose dedication over 125 years has made Western Colorado University a source of pride for Gunnison, the Western Slope, and the state of Colorado. 3, that the Colorado Senate acknowledges Western Colorado University's distinctive role in providing accessible, high-quality education in a rural mountain community and recognizes its continued commitment to serving the people, economies, and landscapes of Colorado. And 4, that the Colorado Senate encourages all Coloradans to celebrate this milestone and to support the continued growth and success of Western Colorado University in the years ahead. Be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be sent to the President of Western Colorado University, Brad Baca, the Governor of Colorado, the Honorable Jared Polis, the Western Colorado University Board of Trustees, the Colorado Commission on Higher Education, the Western Colorado University Foundation, and the Gunnison City Council.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President, Mr. Coleman.
Oh, just James. Thank you very much, Madam President. Members, located in the heart of Rocky Mountains in the scenic community of Gunnison, Western Colorado University stands as a place where academic excellence meets the spirit of the outdoors. Founded in 1901, the university has more than a century-long tradition of educating resilient, innovative, and community-minded leaders. Western is known for its personalized, student-centered approach, offering small class sizes and close faculty mentorship. The university emphasizes interdisciplinary learning, preparing students for meaningful careers in a rapidly changing world. It is particularly recognized for strong programs in environmental sustainability, outdoor industry leadership, and business.
Members,
Senator
please sit
Catlin.
down.
Senator Catlin.
I had to get priorities. Thank you, Madam President. Please be seated. The university maintains strong ties with Gunnison and the broader Western Slope, contributing to regional development and cultural vitality. Traditions, school spirit, and a shared appreciation for the outdoors define the student experience. The university continues to evolve, embracing innovation while honoring its heritage. Today, we celebrate Western Colorado University not only for its history, but for its ongoing impact, shaping individuals who go on to make meaningful contributions locally, nationally, and globally. And I would imagine that the people that started this university in 1901 had no idea what kind of influence they were going to have around the world, around this nation, around their state, and around their community. But I think they would be very, very proud of what Western Colorado University has become. I'd like to introduce the president of Western Colorado University, Brad Baca, who's here, and please give him a Senate welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on SR 008? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of SR 008. Are there any no votes? Seeing none, with a vote of 35 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 0 excused, SR 008 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Catlin.
Thank you, Madam President. I request that the current roll call be added as co-sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you. The motion is to add co-sponsors. Seeing no objection, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors.
Third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 152.
Senate Bill 152 by Senators Ball and Pelton B. and Representatives Wilford and Barone concerning changes to usage of automated vehicle identification systems.
Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask permission to bring a third reading amendment.
Please tell us why, Senator Ball.
First, let me move Senate Bill 152 on third reading and final passage, and I ask permission to bring a third reading amendment.
Very good. Please tell us why, Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our intrepid drafter has discovered a small mistake. We meant to change the lettering on the signs from 2 inches to 3 inches, and instead we changed it to say the lettering has to be 2 and 3 inches high. So we're going to strike 2 and so that we change it from 2 to 3 inches.
The motion is Senator Ball's request to offer third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that motion is adopted. There is an amendment at the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L12. L12.
Amendment L12, amending gross bill, page
Senator
515.
Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Amendment L12.
Further discussion on L12? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the adoption of L12. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 0 excused, L12 is adopted. Further discussion on Senate Bill 152? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 152. Are there any no votes? Senators Zamora Wilson, Baisley, Carson. Further no votes on 152. With a vote of 32 ayes, 3 no, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 152 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Henriksen, Cutter. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of House Bill 1322.
House Bill 1322 by Representatives Valdez and McCormick and Senators Cutter and Mullica concerning civil actions against certain individuals engaging in conversion therapy efforts.
Senator Cutter.
Thank you. I move House Bill 261322 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion? There is discussion. Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I wanted to take this opportunity to share why I sponsored this bill and the personal reasons behind it. I was raised by a single mom, powerful, strong woman. My mom just happens to be gay. Growing up, I saw the struggles firsthand. Matthew Shepard was murdered when I was a child. I questioned if something was going to happen to my mom because she loved another woman. I saw the struggles that my mom went through because she loved another woman, questioning her identity, people telling her that she was doing something wrong, or that she was evil, or that she was going to hell. See, I lived this with her. I lived the substance abuse problems. I lived through the depression. I even lived
through the suicide attempt. I can remember the ambulance coming and taking her away. All she was doing was being who she was. She didn't have a choice. She was a good mom. She was a good human being. She was a powerful woman. And I can't control what the church is going to say or what people are going to say. But the fact is that there's trauma that came from the words that people told her. And I lived it with her. What this bill is saying that if you are a licensed healthcare professional, that you're not allowed to harm an individual. You're not allowed to tell that individual that they're a bad person or that they're going to hell or that they've done something wrong because of who they are. And that if you do that, there will be accountability. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Colorado Medical Society is supportive of this bill. I love my mom. I wouldn't be here without her. She deserved better. She deserved better. This bill is trying to ensure that other people don't have the same experiences that my mom had. I ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1322. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Minority Leader, Frizzell, Zamora Wilson, Rich, Kirkmeyer, Baisley, Liston, Pelton R., Catlin, Carson, Bright, Pelton B. With a vote of 23 ayes, 12 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1322 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Kipp, Benavidez, Wallace, Gonzalez, Danielson, Amabile, Doherty, Weissman, Henriksen, Ball, Colker, Sullivan, Lindstedt, Bridges, Exum, Roberts, Snyder. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of House Bill 1123.
House Bill 1123 by Representatives Stewart Kay and Mabry and Senators Amabile and Weissman concerning measures to prevent sexual abuse in jails and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1123 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion, Senator Weissman.
And we have to ask for permission to offer a third reading amendment.
Senator Weissman, please tell us why you would like to offer a third reading amendment.
In the vein of intrepid drafters catching things, this just corrects an internal subsection reference. It's purely technical.
Very good. The motion is Senator Weissman's request to offer a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and permission is granted. There's a member of the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L25.
Amendment L25.
Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move L25 to House Bill 1123.
To the amendment.
Members, this corrects an internal subsection reference from sub 6 to sub 7. It's a whopping one line, changes nothing of substance. Ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of L25 to House Bill 1123. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, L25 is adopted. Further discussion. Senator Weissman.
We move for the repassage of 1123 as amended.
The motion is the repassage of House Bill 1123 as amended. Are there any no votes? Senators Rich, Zamora Wilson, Kirkmeyer, Baisley, Liston, Pelton B, Bright, Pelton R. With a vote of 27 ayes, 8 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1123 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Kipp, Judah, Cutter, Wallace, Gonzalez, Henriksen, Benavidez. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of House Bill 1226.
House Bill 1226 by Representative Wilford and Froelich and Senators Weissman and Cutter concerning measures to reduce emissions from certain electric generating units in the state.
Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1226 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1226. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Minority Leader, Frizzell, Kirkmeyer, Zamora Wilson, Rich, Pelton B, Baisley, Bright, Liston, Carson, Roberts, Pelton R, Catlin, with a vote of 22 ayes, 13 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused. House Bill 1226 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Judah, Henriksen, Wallace, Benavidez, Kipp, Danielson, Amabile. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of House Bill 1076.
House Bill 1076 by Representative Pascal and Lindsay and Senators Ball and Lindstedt concerning modifications to select statutory provisions relating to transportation.
Senator Lindstedt.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1076 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1076. Are there any no votes? Senators Zamora Wilson, Rich, Frizzell, Carson, Pelton R, Baisley, Kirkmeyer, with a vote of 28 ayes, 7 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused. House Bill 1076 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Henriksen, Cutter, Snyder, Kipp. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of House Bill 1207.
House Bill 1207 by Representatives Jackson and Bacon and Senators Kipp and Danielson concerning employer accountability through disclosure of demographic workforce data and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Kipp.
I move HB 26, 1207 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1207. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Minority Leader, Kirkmeyer, Frizzell, Zamora Wilson, Rich, Baisley, Pelton B, Liston, Bright, Pelton R, Catlin, Carson, with a vote of 23 ayes, 12 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused. House Bill 1207 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Lindstedt, Weissman, Cutter, Senator Benavidez. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 115.
Senate Bill 115 by Senators Gonzalez and Weissman and Representative Bacon and Mabry concerning post-conviction relief for certain offenders sentenced to imprisonment and in connection therewith making and reducing an appropriation.
Senadora Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move Senate Bill 115 and request permission to offer a third reading amendment.
Please tell us why you would like permission. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This was brought to us by LLS. This morning, we're just moving some words around. The issue is that we had incorrectly spliced an adverbial phrase into a relative phrase. I wish I knew that much about grammar.
Very good. The motion is both Senator Gonzalez and Senator Weissman's request to offer a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Permission is granted. There's the amendment at the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L10.
Amendment
Senator
L10.
Weissman.
We move L10 to SB 115.
Further discussion on L10. Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the adoption of L10. Are there any no votes? Senators Zamora Wilson. No votes on L10? All right. There is no vote from Senator Zamora Wilson on L10. With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, L10 is adopted. Further discussion on Senate Bill 115. Senator Weissman.
Just for good measure, we remove SB 115 as amended.
And Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, as we vote here, I just wanted to state for the record, net of the considerable amendments we did both yesterday and in the Appropriations Committee, how narrow what's left that we are voting on is. SB 115 was frankly pretty narrow as introduced. That was always our intent. It was narrowed further in appropriations. It was narrowed further yesterday. What remains is simply this. For inmates who are at least 60 years old, have served at least 20 years for a limited 3-year period of time, they will be able to file a motion concerning which the burden is on them to make the showings and concerning which there's full VRA, Victim Rights Act process. There are a number of exclusions. Anybody sentenced on life without parole is excluded, always has been, from introduction. Anybody sentenced on nearly 30 different sex offenses is excluded, always has been, from introduction. In Judiciary Committee, we actually further excluded anybody sentenced on human trafficking offenses. We have also, from introduction, excluded offenses where there was a child victim, 12 or younger, or a peace officer or other first responder victim. That is to track with existing provisions of sentencing law. So what's left is maybe several dozen individuals eligible out of 15,000 plus in the custody of DOC. Why? Because, to reference a comment from a parole board member who was up for confirmation in judiciary, our criminal legal process has to be able to hold two things together at the same time. One is that people can do some pretty horrible things, and the other is that people can change. And this is a bill that tries to recognize the balance between both of those. In the 3-year time period, we'll get data from the courts, we'll see who files, we'll see what's granted, we'll see what's not, and then we, the legislature, will learn some things about what might be appropriate adjustments to our statutes to make in the future, and maybe, depending on findings made by courts and who can meet their burden of proof, maybe some folks will be able to demonstrate that they have reformed, become somebody different than they were when they went inside decades ago, and contribute something useful to society. So we ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion. Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 115 is amended. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Minority Leader, Kirkmeyer, Frizzell, Zamora Wilson, Rich, Sullivan, Baisley, Lindstedt, Danielson, Mullica, Catlin, Mr. Majority Leader, Pelton B., Roberts. Oh, please mark the Majority Leader as an aye vote. You were about to get eliminated. Senator Bright, Carson, Pelton R., Liston. With a vote of 18 ayes, 17 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused. Senate Bill 115 is passed. Co-sponsors. Now, Mr. Majority Leader. Cutter. Amabile. Wallace. Benavidez. Judah. Kip. Please add the president. Committee reports.
Committee on Appropriations, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 67 be postponed indefinitely. Senate Bill 167 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. Senate Bill 181 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation and with a recommendation that it be placed on the consent calendar. House Bill 1069 be amended as follows. No so amended be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. House Bill 1078 be amended as follows. No so amended be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. House Bill 1132 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. House Bill 1338 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation and with a recommendation that be placed on the consent calendar. House Bill 1344 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation and with a recommendation that be placed on the consent calendar. House Bill 1347 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we will take a brief pause so we can type up and distribute special orders calendars, and they will be distributed, and then we'll take up bills on special orders.
Senator 5. All right, we back in the game. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to Senate Rule 21C, I move to grant leave to the JBC so they can meet while the Senate is in session.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Man, the ayes have it. That motion is adopted. Special orders, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate take up special order second reading of bills consent calendar, which consists of Senate Bill 181, House Bill 1338, 1344, 1336, 1227, 1314, 1028, 1282, and 1317 at the hour of 10:19 a.m.
The motion is to take up those bills on special orders at the hour of 10:19 a.m. This requires 2/3 vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Senate will take up those bills and special orders at the hour. Special orders consent at the hour of 10:19 a.m. Special orders, second reading of the bills, consent calendar. Senator Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The motion is adopted. Senate resolves itself in Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. And Senator Wallace will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title of all the bills on the special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar?
Senate Bill 181 by Senators Amabile and Kirkmeyer and Representatives Brown and Taggart concerning modifying the Colorado Works Program. House Bill 1338 by Representatives McCormick and Winter T and Senators Roberts and Simpson concerning the Colorado Water Conservation Board operations and in connection therewith funding projects and making an appropriation. House Bill 1344 by Representatives Stuart K. and Bradfield and Senator Lindstedt concerning the continuation of the Colorado Podiatry Board and in connection therewith implementing the recommendation in the 2025 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies to require podiatrists to develop a written plan to ensure the security of patient medical records. House Bill 1336 by Representative Lindsay and Winter T and Senators Pelton R. and Cutter concerning measures to increase access to pharmacy services. House Bill 1227 by Representative Gilchrist and Bradfield and Senator Mullica concerning affirming the rights of children and youth in dependency and neglect proceedings. House Bill 1314 by Representative English and Senator Exum concerning increasing family stability and in connection therewith prioritizing kinship placements in certain circumstances and facilitating grandparent contact. House Bill 1028 by Representatives Garcia and Velasco and Senator Cutter concerning second language diploma endorsements for graduating high school students. House Bill 1282 by Representative Phillips and Goldstein and Senator Mullica concerning the elimination of duplicative regulation of school district child care centers. House Bill 1317 by Representative McCluskey and Taggart and Senator Bridges and Frizzell concerning creating a unified system of post-secondary talent development and in connection therewith creating a committee to develop a plan to transition oversight of workforce development programs to the Department of Higher Education.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for the passage of all the bills on special order second reading of bills consent calendar, which is Senate Bill 181, House Bill 1338, 1344, 1336 in the Health and Human Services Report, 1227, 1314, 1028, 1282, and 1317, and the Education Report.
Is there any discussion on the committee reports? The motion before the body is the adoption of all the committee reports on the special order second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee reports are adopted. Is there any discussion of any of the bills on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of all the bills on the special orders second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bills are adopted. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report. Almost got me there.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
May 5th, 2026. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report has had under consideration the following attached bills being the second reading thereof and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 181 passed on second reading, ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1338, House Bill 1344, House Bill 1336 as amended, House Bill 1227, House Bill 1314, House Bill 1028, House Bill 1282, House Bill 1317 as amended, passed on second reading, ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 181 passed second reading, order goes place counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1338, 1344, 1336 is amended, 1227, 1314, 1028, 1282, 1370 is amended, passed second reading, order rise place counter for third reading and final passage. Special orders, Majority Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate take up special orders second reading of bills, which consist of House Bill 1078, Senate Bill 167, House Bill 1069, 1132, 1347, Senate Bill 68, House Bill 1210, House 1196, 1224, and 1342 at the hour of 10:24 a.m.
The motion is Senate take up those bills in special orders at the hour of 10:24 a.m. This requires 2/3 vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will take up those bills in special orders at the hour of 10:24 a.m. Special orders, second reading of the bill. Senator Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate resolves itself to the committee of the whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills. And Senator Wallace will take the chair.
Okay, I'll explain the appropriation.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1078?
House Bill 1078 by Representatives Smith and Hammer, considers Marchman and Kirkmeyer, concerning increasing the number of off-campus courses offered by institutions of higher education to students in concurrent enrollment programs and in connection therewith, making and reducing an appropriation.
Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1078 and the Appropriations Committee report.
To the Appropriations Committee report, Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Appropriations Committee report, we had an amendment that eliminated the fiscal note.
Is there any further discussion of the Appropriations Committee report? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this is a pretty easy bill to look at, and hopefully everyone agrees and they like it, because all this is doing is currently we have courses that are allowed for concurrent enrollment with four-year institutions. And what is happening is they have to bus the individuals, the kids, to the university. What this says is, look, they get to do and offer concurrent enrollment courses. Instead of on campus, they can do it online, same as it is with community colleges. So we're hopeful that more students that are in high school will have the opportunity to do concurrent enrollment with universities and get other credits and things in place, and it would be a benefit to them. So it expands access, it reduces barriers, and it actually saves money. It's a great bill. Ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion, Senator Marchman.
Yeah, I'll be really brief. I did a lot of looking into the concurrent enrollment for this bill, and one of the things I noticed is the people who are going to benefit the most are those who are not close to some of the larger community college systems. So Southern Colorado is going to be incredibly impacted in a very positive way. So I do encourage an aye vote on this. Thank you.
Further discussion, Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I support this bill as a correction of what I would say as an oversight in the language that was put in statute previously that gave a restriction against off-campus instruction. I'm not sure why they would put such a restriction. That's not something we would do to private industry, say you have to keep everything contained within your campus of buildings and not have flexibility to teach when you'd find it advantageous to the students or for any other cost reasons. And speaking of cost, there was a fiscal note on here that has been reduced to 0+. There is a decrease of $80,000. So I see nothing but good in here, and might add some competition out there that would be healthy for the education industry as well. So I support.
Further discussion, Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I likewise rise in support of 1078. Just anecdotally, going to high school graduations in the last few years, it's quite amazing there. They've recognized high school graduates who, through concurrent enrollment, also have their associate's degree. And they go to watch the number of high school kids participating in this is pretty exceptional, and this bill makes it, I think, even better, where we'll even see more of those kids given that opportunity and take advantage of that. So I rise in support of 1078.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of House Bill 1078. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the Senate proceed out of order, take up Senate Bill 68.
The motion is to proceed out of order to take up Senate Bill 68. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will proceed out of order. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that Senate Bill 68 lay over until Thursday, May the 14th.
The motion is to lay over Senate Bill 68 until Thursday, May the 14th. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill will be laid over. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 167?
Senate Bill 167 by Senators Benavidez and Mullica and Representative Basnicker and Lindsay concerning a covered person's contribution under a health benefit plan based on out-of-pocket expenses attributable to the purchase of prescription drugs.
Senator Benavidez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 167 and the Appropriations and Health and Human Services reports.
The,
It wasn't
to the Health and Human Services Committee report, which I believe is the only committee report that we have. Great. To the Health and Human Services Committee report, please.
All right.
Senator Benavidez.
Thank you. In committee, we added an amendment, and that amendment just clarified a couple of things with respect to how insurance companies would process any of these out-of-network claims for prescription drugs. That was it. Prior to I vote.
Further discussion of the Health and Human Services Committee report. Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Health and Human Services Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this is a relatively simple bill, good bill. This is essentially allowing those who have insurance to be able to go buy their prescription drugs on a different market and still have the price they pay count towards their deductible. Sometimes those drugs can be less expensive, which is a benefit to the consumer. And when they do that, then what this bill is saying is that those dollars that they spend can count towards their deductible, which is beneficial to them as well. I would ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of Senate Bill 167. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of House Bill 1069?
House Bill 1069 by Representatives Foray and Stewart Kay and Senator Mullica concerning increase in the availability of emergency medical services and in connection therewith making and reducing an appropriation.
Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1069 and the Health and Human Services Committee report.
And the appropriations report, sir?
No, there's no oh, is there? And appropriations, I guess.
Perfect. To the Health and Human Services Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In Health and Human Services, we narrowed the bill and took out private insurers and are just doing this with Medicaid. Would ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Health and Human Services Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the appropriations report, Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In appropriations, they appropriated, I guess there was a $0 fiscal note So I believe that's what they did. Thank you.
Wonderful to hear. Any further discussion of the Appropriations Committee report? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this bill, I said in appropriations, I'll say it here, I think it's one of the most underrated bills of the session with, I think, the real ability to save dollars for the people of Colorado and to really help our EMS out as well. When an ambulance comes to a scene, they pick you up and they typically take you to the ER. That's their only option. The ER is one of the most expensive places to receive care. And what this bill is doing is it allows our EMS agencies to be compensated and to be reimbursed for not just taking you to the ER. It allows them to be reimbursed if they offer telehealth. It allows them to be reimbursed if maybe they need to take you to your primary care doctor, which is maybe sometimes a better place and more fitting for what you're needing and what you're being seen for. And that's a big step, and that's a big change. And I think it's a good change when EMS only has one option and it's the most expensive option. This bill is giving other options that can be more feasible, more affordable, and more appropriate for the care of the patient. And I think that when you have those wins, when you're able to provide better care for a patient, when you're able to save dollars for the patient and for the people of Colorado, I think that that's a pretty good thing, and that's what this bill does, and I would ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion, Senator Frizzell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank the good senator from Thornton for bringing this legislation. He's not wrong. This is an incredibly important and impactful policy that, candidly, I think is long overdue. This provides, especially in our rural communities, the ability for these EMS teams to actually provide care and be compensated for it, because the way that the model works currently is typically, unless they actually transport a person to a healthcare facility, they're not compensated. This allows them and pays them to treat the person in their home, because sometimes people don't always have to be transported. They just don't. And so it allows these EMS workers who are so valuable and have such great experience, it allows them to treat people where they are, take them where they really need to go rather than the emergency room. And this is going to, I believe, significantly reduce healthcare costs for all Coloradans overall. So just want to thank the bill sponsor for bringing this, and strongly urge an aye vote.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Visiting with the sponsors, I actually had heard about this bill early in the session, meeting with emergency medical providers in my district, and explained the concept and the reimbursement and the opportunity actually to save the state money. Like, it made a lot of sense, and I just let it slip and go by and forgot all about it. But with permission from the sponsor, I'd welcome the opportunity to put my name on as a co-sponsor of this bill.
Wonderful. We love the spirit of bipartisan collaboration. Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this morning in appropriation, I voted no on this bill. After getting further information, not necessarily from the good sponsor, from good senator from Thornton, but after talking it through with some folks, including the good senator from Thornton, I'm actually going to be a yes vote. People can still refuse transport if they want. That was the part that it wasn't understood this morning in appropriations, and now it is understood that they can still refuse transport if they want. But if they also want help from the EMS service to go get a prescription drug filled for them or something of that nature, they can get that, and they would only be billed for the prescription drugs. So it makes perfect sense. I would be a yes vote, and I hope all of you would be too. Thanks.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of House Bill 1069. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1132?
House Bill 1132 by Representative Froelich and Senators Kipp and Representative Froelich and Lindsay and Senator Kipp concerning increasing pollinator habitats through the conservation of native plant material on lands in the state.
Senator Kipp.
Thank you. I move HB 261132.
And
second
the-
reading. And there was which committee?
Agriculture
and Natural Resources Committee report.
To the committee report, please.
In the committee, there was a numbering thing, and we fixed it.
Wonderful. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of the Agricultural and Natural Resources Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Kipp.
Thank you. This bill focuses on increasing pollinator habitat on state-managed lands by directing 4 state agencies, the State Forest Service, Department of Natural Resources, Department of Personnel, and Department of Transportation to prioritize Colorado-sourced eco-regionally appropriate native plant materials and vegetative projects. It will also says that if we can get the donations for it, this is a separate part, that CSU will conduct a native plant study. We did a few years ago the native pollinating insect study in the state of Colorado. And so what we're trying to do here is start leading by example to implement a number of their recommendations. Pollinators are dying off in Colorado and elsewhere, and we believe this bill will help them to thrive. I just want to let you know another reason for doing this bill is water savings. I know when I personally, ripped out like 95% of the grass in our yard at my house, and we replaced that with native plants, we significantly saved massive amounts of water. We went from like 25,000 gallons a month to 10,000 gallons a month because native plants just use less water. They use less water than grass and other types of plants. And they're good for pollinators, so it's a win-win situation. So I really hope you will all consider voting yes on this bill. It is good for pollinators, and it is good for Colorado, and it is good for our water.
Further discussion, Senator Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank the good senator from Fort Collins for bringing this bill. I've been no on it in committee, and here's why. They want to go in and tell state agencies like CPW, who owns quite a bit of land, who also leases the land to some of our ag producers, and do something with grazing. Like say that we're not going to graze as much, just like CDOT, where they don't want to mow as much because I-76 is a pollinator highway. However, we have a lot of issues with really tall weeds and also deer that get in the roadway that we run over. And when you let the weeds grow that tall, and it snows like it's going to today, you end up with drifting and having lots of issues. So, because we end up with a lot of wind, but the grazing part was the part that bothers me the most. It's a $47 billion industry in the state. And the fact that they want to do something around grazing, we do not overgraze the lands that we lease from CPW because they keep a very close eye on that. That is the correct way to doing it. But with the people that we are putting on boards and commissions with CPW, and especially in DNR, who's going to be making these decisions? They've lost a lot of trust now with other programs they're doing. They're going to lose trust here. So my problem with this is the grazing aspect of it. We need to take that completely out of the bill. If we took it out of the bill, I think that you'd have a lot more people being in favor of it. But as of right now, that's where we're at with it. As long as grazing's in the bill, I'm a no vote.
Senator Catlin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I sit on the Ag Committee and heard this bill, and there are some concerns that I've got. I think if we were To take a meaningful approach to this, we would start approaching private landowners and offering to help them in creating some of these areas for the pollinators. They're aware of pollinators, they're concerned about them. I do worry about the state deciding where we're going to put them, how we're going to manage them, and are we going to graze them. Grazing right now is going to be a great big deal because there's going to be a lot of ground that people are not going to be able to graze because of the drought. They don't have the capacity to be grazed this year. This is just one example. The idea of going after and helping the pollinators makes sense to me to a certain degree, but I think a lot more cooperation could come, particularly on the western slope, from private landowners if they had access to the type of seed, the type of crop that they were going to need. The other thing is I asked a question in regards to where we were acquiring these Colorado native plants, and the answer was Utah. So, you know, I think one of the things we ought to be thinking about is, are we building an industry here in the state of Colorado for somebody or some outfit? If so, I think we ought to rethink that. I think the market forces will help with this if we decide that this is where the state of Colorado wants to go. I think we're hurrying it right now with this bill, so I'd ask for a no.
Senator Kipp.
Yeah, and thank you to my good colleagues for making some comments on this bill. Want to let you know a couple of things. First of all, the native pollinating insects study did talk about grazing and how that was important, but we have also excluded the state land board from this bill, so they're the people who graze out the land, so I think that you should be fine. And also, want to let you know that right now, those are the places that we have to obtain the seeds, is somewhere like Utah. However, in the future, as we build out this program, we need to build up that supply chain, and that's what this bill is helping to do. So we are trying to increase the availability of native plants in Colorado, and I really would ask for an aye vote because I think this is a positive step in the right direction.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I think in my 6 years here, hardly a session has gone by that we don't have a bill and a conversation about pollinators. I think in the very first year, sponsored a bill for a license plate about pollinators and protecting habitat. And we've gone round and round in this space, and as you know, as a farmer on my farm, continue to adopt practices to increase habitat. And so there are 2 commercial beehive operators that bring bees to my property every year, and they trade me with a case of fresh honey every year. So have a deep appreciation for, you know, how we improve habitat and create a better outcome for pollinators. A little concern in this bill, you know, there's nearly $1 million worth of mandates on DNR and CSU. Now they're paid for out of cash funds and or gifts, grants, and donations. So it's not like it has a big fiscal impact, but the mandate on DNR and CSU comes at a little bit of a challenge for me in thinking about how do you advance this conversation? How do we work collaboratively? Again, we need pollinators, and I have become so sensitive to this. When I would be sitting on my back porch at times and see pollinators in my wife's flower garden, I would take pictures and send them to the good senator from Boulder, who was a co-sponsor with me on the pollinator license plate. So passionate about this space. I'm not sure this is the way to go about doing it, but appreciate the effort and the intention, and the good senator from Fort Collins. Thanks for being a pollinator supporter.
Senator Kipp.
Thank you. And I do want to point out that this is the state leading by example and helping to build out that supply chain so that we can do better overall. So again, I think it's really important when the state leads by example as opposed to when we tell private people to go ahead and do something and don't expect the state to do it. We are having the state lead in this area, and good bill. Vote yes.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of House Bill 1132. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1347?
House Bill 1347 by Representatives Gilchrist and Brown and Senators Doherty and Ball concerning changing practices related to federal benefits for youth in foster care.
Senator Doherty.
I move House Bill 1347.
To the bill. Senator Doherty.
Thank you. This bill is a step forward for children and youth in foster care and requires children and youth to be screened for disabilities if needed. Counties must determine potential eligibility and apply for benefits within 45 days of gathering the necessary documentation, and we urge an aye vote.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of House Bill 1347. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1210?
House Bill 1210 by Representatives Bacon and Mabry and Senators Weissman and Judah concerning limiting the use of intimate personal data to make inferences that impact a person's financial position.
Senator Weissman.
Thanks, Madam Chair. We move House Bill 1210. There's no committee report.
Further discussion? Senator Judah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, everybody understands that our phones have become an extension of our brains. We put our most intimate thoughts into our phones, our texts, our searches, and our geolocation data. And the biggest companies in the world are collecting that data and selling it to other companies who are using it to decide how much to charge us as individuals for things like plane tickets, groceries, medicine, when your kid is sick. And this isn't science fiction. This isn't the Minority Report. This is real. It's called surveillance pricing, and it's happening right now to every single one of us. I'm sure that we'll hear that this is about innovation and discounts, but the largest companies in the world are not investing millions into this technology to make less money. These tools exist to take advantage of our personal data to set individual prices, not based on the laws of supply and demand, but based on our personal pain points. The distinction that's critical here is that in a fair market, prices move up based on supply and demand. That's normal. That's what it should be. When demand rises, prices for everyone, when demand rises, prices for everyone equally. When supply increases, prices come down for everyone equally. That's how the markets work, and that's how they're supposed to work. Surveillance pricing, on the other hand, rigs the market. It doesn't adjust prices based on the market conditions. It adjusts prices based on you, who you are, what you're going through, how desperate you might be at that moment. It's not the free market, it's exploitation dressed up by technology. If we don't act now, this practice will only accelerate. Every year, the data gets more granular, and algorithms get more sophisticated. And the gap between what the corporations know about us and what we know about what they're doing with our data grows wider. The window to establish meaningful guardrails is now. So I want to talk a little bit about how this bill works. This bill is not a ban on algorithmic pricing. It's not a ban on dynamic price or wage setting. Instead, it constructs a pipeline of interlocking definitions, with each definition feeding into the next, narrowing the scope of what is ultimately prohibited. Surveillance data, that means your data, my data, is defined based on your online behaviors. This is when companies look at your Google searches, your email, your geolocation data. Then they put this data into an algorithm. And that data is the algorithm that is deciding the factor in setting an individual price, not a uniform discount on a loyalty program. I can't tell you how many times I have needed an emergency diaper run and have ordered it to my door. Or my daughter needed fever medication. They knew that I was desperate for that and set the price as such. That is what is predatory, and that's what we're trying to fight here. I also want to talk about what it was like growing up in a small business. We never had to deal with this, and I don't think a lot of us in this room had to deal with this. We never had to worry about what a price looked like, because we knew what we saw in the grocery store is what everyone was paying. That is a fair market. That's how it should be. That's how my parents were able to put all 4 of us through college, because they didn't have to worry about being surveilled because we needed something at that moment. I want to be clear that when these practices happen, they happen to the most vulnerable people at their most vulnerable time. One of the best examples that I saw on social media was an airline company getting a social media post by a customer saying, "I cannot believe that my price is different between Monday and Tuesday." And the airline responded saying, "Open an incognito tab, clear your cache, and you should get a cheaper price." That is what we are trying to avoid here. And companies like that airline flat out admitted that they were doing price surveillance. We heard from a person that needed an emergency airline ticket because they needed to go to a funeral. It was obvious through those searches and the amount of searches that that person was doing that they needed an airline ticket immediately, and the prices were set as such. That's what we're fighting here, is this predatory practice that allows us, that constricts our ability to pay for the things that we need, again, at our most vulnerable time. The last thing I'll say is on the wage setting part. If that algorithm understands that you are looking for a job desperately and you keep looking for that job, they are going to offer that wage based on that desperation. And that is not fair. For me and my family, that's what would have impeded our ability to realize our American dream, to put us through college. Because we would have been saying, I am so desperate to put my kids through college, but I will take any wage necessary to do that. I think a lot of people are feeling that pain in this economy, and I want to make sure that through this bill, we are allowing workers, as we have discussed over the past week, to make sure that they can earn a livable wage based on what they're capable and qualified to do, rather than accept something based on their desperation. And with that, I ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion, Senator Weissman.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Members, as we get into the debate, I wanted to situate 1210, which feels very new and cutting edge, what is this algorithmic stuff we're talking about, into the history of the kind of laws that we're talking about here, which are to protect consumers, and even before that, to frankly protect markets and promote honest and fair competition among businesses. And this has been the inquiry of law in this country, frankly, since the Industrial Revolution really started to get going, and economists have been writing about this kind of thing in the 1800s. U.S. Congress passed in 1914 the Federal Trade Commission Act to get the federal government interested in and empowered to promote the right kind of competition. We want that. We want people with the best idea for a product or service to be able to communicate about it honestly and earn the reward that they should earn from just having a superior offering. Deceptions about what you have or don't have and dishonest communication into the stream of commerce was the type of concern of that early 20th century lawmaking. We didn't even talk about consumer protection in the modern parlance back then, but we were concerned about promoting the right kind of businesses and frankly having some regulatory oversight over the wrong kind of businesses, which I believe are a small minority but can wreck it for the large majority that are the honest ones. So in the middle of the 20th century, our state and most states started to adopt laws. We call ours the Colorado Consumer Protection Act. They were called mini Trade Commission Acts in some parlance, where, as we often have it, for example, environmental law, states too decided they need to be in the business of protecting honest competition and promoting good business practice and protecting consumers with laws on their own books and not just leaving it all to Congress. So the first version of our Colorado Consumer Protection Act was passed in 1969 here. I have this fuzzy print from the old statutes. This was signed into law by then Republican Governor John Love. And among practices that in 1969 we categorized as deceptive trade practices and proscribed and made actionable, direct quote, makes false or misleading statements of fact concerning the price of goods or services or the reasons for or existence of or amounts of price reductions. 1969. Now, that's not perfectly what we're talking about in the bill, but the point is we have been concerned about the honesty of communication, of pricing and price setting in this state for over 50 years. So that was 1969. Now, let's jump forward. This is a short report from a nonprofit organization called Consumer Watchdog, dated December 2024, just going through some examples of the kind of modern pricing practice. Frankly, not even all of these would necessarily be prohibited under the bill because we've narrowed it so much. But just to give some folks who may not be familiar some examples. Target charged people $100 more for a TV when they were in a Target parking lot versus another location. Orbitz, the travel company, learned that Mac users spend more money to stay at hotels and charge them more than non-Mac users. Yes, folks, if you didn't know this, your device, your Linux device or Windows or Mac sends a kind of code when you're browsing the internet, and it can be captured on the server end, and people can do things with that. Amazon prices change 2.5 million times a day, meaning the average cost of a product changes about every 10 minutes. A Yale study found that personalized pricing increased profits for airlines by 4 to 5%. Anybody happy with airline pricing these days? Uber reportedly charged different prices based on whether the customer used a corporate credit card or not. Farmers Insurance overcharged its California customers 4 to 13%. Just because the company judged them unlikely to shop around. Test Prep Company charged customers shopping online from zip codes that contained a higher number of Asians more money, according to ProPublica. Reading that verbatim, gross as it is. Staples charged people more for the same stapler if they knew a person had fewer options, such as being near a competitor. McKinsey, the big management consultancy, quote, our experience shows that such transformations, when done well, can enhance pricing to generate 2 to 7 percentage points of sustained margin improvement with initial benefits in as little as 3 to 6 months. As my colleague, the senator from Aurora, noted, it is a self-defeating proposition that businesses spend millions and billions developing these methodologies or licensing them from others who do to benefit consumers. Whether you are a 2-member LLC or a large publicly traded corporation, your obligation under your articles of incorporation is to increase shareholder return. And that's why we see these practices, as examples like this attest to. All right, that was December 2024. Let's fast forward even more. We had a little bit of a dispute of public opinion survey research in committee a few weeks ago. This is a poll that was in the field in Colorado early April 2 to April 5. Question, lawmakers in Colorado are proposing a policy that bans companies from using artificial intelligence or automated systems to charge different prices to different people or pay different wages based on surveillance data. This would mean that surveillance data, personal details from someone's browsing history, location, borrowing, or other info, from data profiles companies build about people cannot be used to set individualized prices or wages. Do you support or oppose this policy? 78% of people support. Not very much is true across party lines anymore in this country, but now let's read the breakouts. Democratic, 77% support. Independent, 77% support. Republican, 78% support. Doesn't matter your party. You don't want to get ripped off. You don't want the comet trail that all of us throw off as we browse the internet throughout the day and reveal things about ourselves. We don't want that to be used against us. So, all of which brings us to 1210, which was heavily amended in the House and which we'll have further amendments here for in just a minute. I want members to really focus on how some key definitions fit together. As I said, this is a consumer protection bill. We are in the consumer protection part of our statutes. We have a definition of individualized price setting. And then we go on to say, and we'll further clarify this by amendment, what that is not. There are many exclusions. Then we go on to say, what is individualized wage setting? And likewise, we go on to say what that is not. That's the first part of the bill, 6.1.1901. Then, in the second part of the bill, 6.1.1902, we have a simple requirement: a person shall not engage in individualized price setting, defined term. And then we say all the things that that is not. And then likewise, no engaging in individualized wage setting, and again, exclusions. So you may not be in the bill at all, depending on the definitions. You may not be in the bill at all, depending on two sets of exclusions each for what is or isn't individualized price or wage setting. We've heard stuff about coupons and loyalty programs, and we're not impacting that. There is so much modern practice that will continue to be allowed under this bill. We may all participate in those. Frankly, you may think they're creepy, and you may want to curtail that, but that's not this bill. This bill has been narrowly crafted, and we have had extensive conversations in recent weeks subsequent to our hearing in the Business Committee to make further clarifications, particularly as to the concerns of industries that have their own robust statutory frameworks. So with that, we'll start to introduce a couple of those amendments.
There's an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 18? Senator Weissman.
Amendment L18.
Senator
Thank
Weissman.
you, Madam Chair. We move L18 to House Bill 1210.
To the amendment, Senator Weissman.
Okay, members, this is an amendment we worked out in conversation with folks in the rideshare and delivery network space. We're adding just a little bit of language about maintaining a customer relationship. We also have some clarifying language about the employment part of the bill, clarifying how we mean by seniority and what is or isn't permissible for hiring. This was a clarification we were happy to make. We ask for your support on L18.
Further discussion? Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and appreciate the sponsor sharing the amendments with me yesterday to go through this. I think about rideshare component of this conversation and how it actually functions and works. It's like, I don't use it a lot. There isn't a lot of it available in the San Luis Valley, but if I travel somewhere, my wife uses it up here, and noticing, again, you get different quotes for prices, but I don't know that it's surveilling me. I think it's more along the line of, you touched on it, sponsors supply and demand. Like when there are enough drivers at the right time of the day, the prices go down. When there's a lack of drivers and distance changes or traffic conditions worsen or something, they increase. So it's such an odd conversation to talk about how the construct of the policy and how the world is currently functioning, and it's certainly different than anything I've ever experienced in my life. So I do appreciate the amendment and rise in support of Amendment 18.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of Amendment L18. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. Senator Joda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One other amendment is I'd like to move L36.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read Amendment L36? Senator
Amendment
Chida.
L36.
Thank you, Madam Chair. L36 removes the definition of insurer from the definition section, since insurer is defined where it is used in the bill. So states that individuals' price setting does not include actions by an insurer or a fraternal benefit society that is subject to the requirements of Section 10.3.1109.9 relating to insurers' use of consumer external data and algorithms and related to Commissioner of Insurance rules. By following the specific insurance code and regulations, these insurers do not have to demonstrate under this bill that they are not engaged in individualized pricing, and I ask for an aye vote.
Senator Weissman.
Thank you. Members, just to unpack this a tiny bit more, this is an example of what we spoke to a moment ago, where some industries have a particular existing statutory framework that they're subject to. This legislature passed a bill trying to get at this question of sort of algorithmic data usage that could operate in a disparate way, specifically in the insurance sector. From memory, SB 21169, I think that was my colleague's predecessor, Senator Buckner's work. At any rate, that's what we're acknowledging here. So by moving this up to the bill in a definitional way, we're essentially definitionally or categorically carving these actors out of the framework. They no longer would need to get as far as an investigation and then rebut by making a showing. They wouldn't even get that far. So this is a concession we're making to the insurance industry, given the force of existing law. We ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of L36. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. Senator Ridge, to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I did appreciate some of the information that we just had. I was in committee and heard this bill, and I certainly understand about bad actors because, well, I'll tell you what, before I start that, I'll offer this amendment.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 19?
Amendment L19, amend re-engrossed bill.
Senator
page 10.
Rich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move L019 to House Bill 1210.
To the amendment, Senator Rich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amendment L19 would ensure that a violation of the bill only occurs when a business knowingly uses surveillance data in a way that causes real, measurable economic harm. This amendment would protect businesses from ensuring the bill targets bad actors, not technical violations. Currently, the bill creates broad liability for the use of surveillance data in pricing or wage decisions without distinguishing between harmful conduct and routine business activity. By requiring both intent and material economic harm, this amendment ensures that only meaningful differences in price or wage trigger enforcement, not incidental or harmless use of data. Because metadata such as this is routinely used to inform pricing decisions for countless Colorado businesses, this means that this bill's broad prohibition of price or wage setting algorithm will reach far beyond bad actors and into routine pricing and compensation decisions. Rather than targeting discrimination tied to protected classes or customer characteristics, this bill treats nearly all forms of data-driven price optimization as suspect, which is a clear departure from how these issues are typically addressed in law. So I think this is a sensible amendment, L019, and I ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion, Senator Weissman.
Thanks, Madam Chair. We'll ask for a no vote on L19 for a couple of reasons. At line 4, the amendment would limit the whole framework to a knowingly mental state, which is quite a high one. We don't generally use that in the Consumer Protection Act framework. Some parts of the CPA don't specify a mental state at all. Some refer to knowingly or recklessly. What you don't want, and the reason that we've departed from the knowingly limitation in some other respects, is you don't want to let people get away for sort of a willful ignorance in terms of their practice, which is why recklessly can capture conduct that we want to be able to capture. Concerning the limitation of materiality, you know, I should have probably called out some language at 1901-10, where we say you're only really in the bill. You are only improperly engaging in surveillance, price, or wage setting using the defined term, a price or wage setting algorithm, where that is a substantial factor. So definitionally, we've already screened out non-materiality. I will also disagree with the statement that we're banning use of all data. We're not doing that. But at any rate, 19 would functionally gut the bill. We ask for a no vote.
Further discussion? Senator Pelton, or excuse me. Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of L19. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The noes have it, and the amendment is lost. Senator Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, the more we get into this world we live in now with AI and algorithms and you name it, and all the different areas of our life that it's being applied to, we have to make sure that we protect the businesses that are involved too, other than just handing down regulations from this building that could compromise some of their trade, not necessarily secrets, but trade habits. So with that, Madam Chair.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 23?
Amendment L23, amending gross bill. L23.
I got the wrong one. I removed that. I withdraw that amendment.
The amendment has been withdrawn. Senator Carson.
Well, okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Make a few comments on the bill first, and then I will also have an amendment. So first, you know, I think this bill represents, you know, another example of the type of government regulation of business activities in our state that we talk about pretty regularly. More and more regulations, more and more paperwork, oversight by the Attorney General, you know, potential fines and actions, a lot of data to be published and made available. That's going to be costly. That's, I don't think, going to be particularly helpful to consumers. You know, the folks I'm hearing from, they seem reasonably satisfied in their day-to-day transactions. You know, they can use coupons, they can get various discounts, they can shop where they want. They have a lot of consumer choice. And I think we should leave it up to consumers, you know, I think they're intelligent enough to figure out where they want to shop, who they want to do business with, and how they want to, you know, conduct their family lives and allocate their budget. And I don't think we need another example of government oversight and protection in this area. And I don't think this is, you know, when you talk about this bill, I just don't think it's an area of burning concern for folks out there. I've never, quite frankly, I've never heard anyone really complain about what happens when you, you know, you might use a coupon, you might get a discount, you might get into, I think everybody assumes they're, you know, if they're members of a different group like Costco or They do business with Amazon. Obviously, those entities are going to have a lot of information. If it's improperly used, there may be some situations, and so I want to offer an amendment here.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 23?
Amendment L23, amending gross bill, page 3, line 16.
Senator Carson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move amendment L23.
To the amendment, Senator Carson.
So I think this amendment gets at potentially some of the concerns people might have. And it really looks at an area where, pricing disparities might be misused based on a person's race or their sex or their religion or similar classifications, not just generally whether they're a consumer out there in the marketplace. The business might have certain information. I think we should target the bill at areas where we've, in our society where we've seen abuses before. And so I'll just read the amendment, what it says. Instead of just generically covering all consumers, this would narrow the bill to the consumer when such price determination is based in whole or in part on the individual's actual or perceived race, color, national origin, ancestry, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, age, disability, religion, creed, genetic information, or other protected characteristic under federal or state law. So that covers a pretty wide range of areas where we don't want to see discrimination in our society based on issues such as employment or housing or other areas. And if this bill is really trying to prevent abuses, misuse of information, I think this is a good way to narrow it, focus it, make it more acceptable, and weed out some of the abuses that might be occurring. Just a couple more comments on the amendment. It would clarify that individualized pricing is only prohibited when it's based on protected characteristics such as race, sex, religion, or similar classifications. I listed those. The amendment protects consumers by ensuring that the bill targets explicit discrimination, not lawful pricing strategies that benefit the general public. And I've received, a number of emails from folks just concerned about what's the impact really going to be on them when they purchase products. They're concerned, and I know the sponsors mentioned this doesn't target coupons, but and discounts and things like that. But obviously, there's some concern about what the impact this bill is going to have in those areas. I'll let them elaborate some more on why they don't think those areas are covered. But a lot of times, these bills have an impact that you might not anticipate right away because the businesses are going to react in certain ways. Some of them may just choose not to offer discounts and coupons and other things to consumers if they're going to be regulated and scrutinized and subject to these kind of penalties so much. So at the end of the day, you could be harming consumers more than you're helping them. The bill broadly restricts individualized pricing regardless of whether or not it's discriminatory. So I think this amendment would correct that and target it at discriminatory practices. By tying the prohibition to protected characteristics, the amendment ensures enforcement is focused on unlawful conduct rather than neutral business decisions. So that's an overview of the amendment. I think it'd be a good way to, make this bill more palatable, make it, give it more of an actual purpose that folks can agree with and avoid the kind of discrimination we don't want to see out there in the community.
Senator Weissman.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I gratified to hear that I think we're all agreed in a bipartisan way. We don't want to see discrimination or disparate pricing on these protected classes that are recited in L23. Nonetheless, I think this would unnecessarily narrow 1210 and much reduce the scope of protection that we're trying to do here. So I'll ask for a no vote on 23. Under existing law, I'm thinking of the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act, provisions on housing, provisions on employment, provisions on public accommodations. We already have, and I'm glad we do, we should have legal protections to prohibit discrimination based on these characteristics, such as race, ethnicity, religion, others. But really the judgment of the bill is to say that in this economy, when, frankly, unlike any time in history, a small number of Titan companies are spending hundreds of billions of dollars. I saw a data point, it was either in The Economist or the New York Times recently. The top tech companies with a combined capitalization, I think, of 12 trillion with a T, are on track to spend $600 billion on data centers and algorithmic development and whatnot, not all of which will be used for what we're talking about here, but some will be, because there's profit to be had in it. The judgment of the bill is to say, even if you are not a member of a minoritarian type of identity, you deserve the protection in Colorado law of not having your intimate individual details used in a way that will price gouge you or drive your wages down. You might be a straight, white, Protestant male, but you probably use Facebook too or some other social media platform, and we don't want that type of data that is personal to you to then factor into price that you have to pay for an everyday type of good or service. So that's really what sets this bill apart from a lot of the other legislation we've done in past years that has focused, for understandable reason, on protected classes. We think members of traditional protected classes deserve these protections, and everybody else too. So let's not narrow the bill. I ask for a no vote on 23.
Further discussion on Amendment L23? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of Amendment L23. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. The noes have it, and the amendment is lost. Senator Pelton.
Thank you.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 20?
Amendment L20.
Senator Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Got it right this time. There was a few copies of another amendment on top of my stack, so I move Amendment L20.
Perfect. To the amendment, sir.
So I kind of laid out what this amendment would do earlier, but with this amendment, it protects the businesses by safeguarding proprietary information. Currently, the bill requires businesses to publish procedures governing how their pricing and wage setting systems operate, which could force disclosure of sensitive internal process. By shifting to internal procedures with disclosure upon request, this amendment maintains accountability without forcing companies to expose trade secrets. Businesses would still be required to maintain and share relevant information when necessary, but would not be forced to publicly disclose algorithmic systems that provide competitive advantages. This ensures oversight without sacrificing intellectual property. Again, the businesses would still have to track it, maintain the procedures they use for pricing and wage algorithms, but just provide it upon request. So with that, I would urge support for 20. Let's protect the internal processes in these businesses, but yet the information could still be requested. So I request a yes vote on 20.
Further discussion on Amendment L20. Senator Weissman.
Thanks, Madam Chair. We'll ask for a no vote on 20. I want to say a little bit about why. First of all, back to the scope of the bill, who is or isn't in. A person that uses a price or wage setting algorithm as defined, and then unpack the definitions, shall develop and publish reasonable procedures. A lot of businesses, frankly, aren't doing this. If you really look at how narrow the funnel of the definitions is, the neighborhood small business is most likely not even engaged in the behavior we're talking about here. If anything, they're at risk of getting taken advantage of by it. So they're not even in the bill. And then we did emphasize the reasonableness of procedures. Trade secret protection is valid. The other thing I just wanted to emphasize is how not new the basic concept is. There's this system, it's out there, it's being used to determine pricing against you, to determine wage setting. There's something I discovered when I was a lot younger in life called the Code of Fair Information Practices. You can still find this online. Was the central contribution of the Health, Education, and Welfare Advisory Committee on Automated Data Systems of the U.S. Senate in 1972 or 73. We called it data processing back then. I mean, this was the early days of computers, but a few things that they mentioned, these are the 5 principles. There must be no personal data record-keeping systems whose very existence is secret. Must be a way for a person to find out what information about the person is in a record and how it's used, and it goes on from there. I won't read them all. But the point is, we've understood the core principles about the need to be able to see what's going on in an information system literally for decades. So we're just tapping into that history. Again, most businesses aren't even impacted here. If somebody is proceeding to use one of these algorithms, we think they owe a little bit of transparency to those whose data they're operating on for their own or somebody else's profit. So we ask for a no vote on the amendment.
Further discussion on Amendment L20? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of L20. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The noes have it, and the amendment is lost. Further discussion on the bill, Senator Zamora Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I find this bill fascinating. When it comes to surveillance, I think most of you know how I feel about surveillance. Don't like it. But when we talk about economics, the thing that I would always tell my students was the producer with the most information in the market has the most control. I mean, that's one of the goals, is they're always trying to get information for profit, right? And so this is normal as far as collecting data. I don't like surveillance, but in the market, we see it. And if I could just present just a basic, very simple example. How many of you have purchased a vehicle? Like you go on the car lot and you're looking to buy a vehicle. Now, I would argue that not all of us, we could buy the same vehicle. Not all of us would pay the same price. So in my experience, I don't know about you, but as soon as I step foot on a car lot, you have the dealers all of a sudden coming to you. And they start asking you questions. What are they doing? They're trying to get information on you. Were you in an accident? Do you have a job? They're trying to see where the thresholds are on the price that you're willing to pay. If you are just in an accident and you need a vehicle right now, you're more willing to pay a higher price for that vehicle. Is that unfair? That's part of the market, right? And so here we are. I think you also know how I feel about regulations. I see this as we're increasing regulations. We have fines. And this is going to increase costs ultimately on the taxpayer, on Coloradans. It's like a mathematical equation to me. You increase those regulations, there's going to be a cost on us. And so I have, even though you know how I feel about surveillance, I have really concerns on House Bill 26-1210. I am not comfortable with it. And again, we have examples where not everybody pays the same price for a product. And I would urge a no vote on House Bill 1210. Thank you.
Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I'll wade in real quickly just because we're talking about markets, and econ was my favorite subject up through grad school, particularly the theories around market failure and preservation of free market conditions, because one of the four main mechanisms of market failure is information asymmetry. That is precisely what the core of this bill seeks to address, is where with new technology that can rapidly expand information to all market players, there is a monopolization of the technology by producers in certain environments to drive information asymmetry at the expense of consumers. That is, by definition, not a free market. That is what underlied several of the reforms that we have had in the past in this space. And that is what is critical to 1210 as it deals with algorithmic price setting for individuals based on surveillance. So I wanted to lay that out there because I agree that markets work best when they are free, and I want to lay a grave concern I have that our rapidly advancing technologies, while providing incredible opportunities for growth and human progress, can also be weaponized against those who are disadvantaged. That is exactly what we're seeing in the space, and that is why House Bill 1210 is so badly needed.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, I rise in support of this bill. I've heard a few of the comments, and we relate it to AI. And at the core of this bill, and many of you here, and I ran the third in the country's comprehensive privacy law that we gave citizens rights to know what data was being collected on us. This is just an evolution of where we've gotten to. It's always been about privacy and your right to know. I mean, they carved out the loyalty programs. It's always been, I know that my phone is tracking where I am, therefore they know, and I knowingly go in and allow them to do that. But the slippery slope we have here, and it's the same argument I made in 2021, it's whether you allow technology to follow everything you do. And that's what this bill's trying to prevent. It's always been like, okay, if you go into my store, you get to see what I'm shopping and all that, but do you get to follow me to the next store and the next store and the next store? And that's what this bill does, is they take this information and they use it to benefit you. The JetBlue article, the customer service rep says, hey, I looked it up the second time and my price mysteriously went up. Well, delete your cookies in history and then do it again. That's the kind of stuff that you're seeing. And unless we in 2021, privacy was very bipartisan, and we're having these fights as colleagues now, oddly enough, when government wants to surveil us versus we want the public to be able to do it willy-nilly. But at the end of the day, for us as consumers, we are the product when it comes to this information. The mass amounts of information that's collected about us, that's used against us, that you have no idea. And I've always relayed privacy to the younger generation believes they have no privacy, and the older generation has such little idea of how much privacy they don't have. And at the core of this bill, AI has implemented the tools of the privacy, but unless we start figuring out a way to regulate it, and I'll have this conversation on my AI bill. You guys know I'm working on a tamale bill. My tamale bill to sell tamales to people has more regulations than we've put on privacy and artificial intelligence. And that's something for you to think about as we start having these fights. Whether it's flock cameras, I've joked with my colleagues, I'm going to invest in facial recognition scanning through things so I can start surveilling the gun stores to see what you buy when you come out. Slippery slope of the things that you have to recognize that this technology is able to do. And this is a small step forward that we need to do to prevent this from happening to all of us as consumers, as Americans, First Amendment rights or not. I argue with my colleague across the aisle all about the time about, well, it's on public land, so we can do it. I was like, yeah, that was back in the day when somebody sat there and looked, not when you're being recorded. So I stand in strong support of this bill. It's not everything I like. It could be better. But as you guys know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I ask for an aye vote.
Senadora Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise in support of House Bill 1210. And let me just say, this question, who's in control? Are we going to allow tech corporations to surveil and then set individualized prices on everyday products? Or are we going to say, no, here are the parameters. You may not surveil us and then jack up the cost of everyday goods. It's a simple proposition. I am grateful to the work that has been done thus far. But when we become the products, when we become the objects to be surveilled, when we start to see that surveillance then lead to costs being jacked up by these corporations in order to pad their bottom lines, colleagues, 1210 simply says, no, there are parameters that ought to be set forth. No, you cannot collude just via algorithm. Collusion is collusion is collusion, whether it happens in a smoke-filled room or whether it happens via a nice, clean algorithm. I ask for an aye vote on this bill, thank the sponsors for their work, and know that this work must continue.
Senator Rich.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 27?
Amendment L27.
Senator Rich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move L027 to House Bill 1210.
To the amendment, Senator Rich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There was some discussion a little bit earlier about discounts and how those are not going to be affected here. Well, let's make sure that that's not the case. Amendment L27 would allow loyalty programs to offer targeted discounts based on purchase history or customer behavior so long as the criteria is disclosed and applied uniformly. The amendment protects consumers by ensuring loyalty programs remain functional. While the bill permits loyalty programs, it creates ambiguity around whether targeted offers within those programs are allowed. Without clarification, businesses may be unable to tailor rewards or incentives. This amendment provides clear guardrails. It allows targeted offers while requiring transparency and equal treatment for all consumers who meet the criteria. Now, if we don't want to lose our discounts, and if it's, as you say in this bill, that we're not, there's nothing wrong with this amendment and putting that on there to ensure that that happens. I urge an aye vote on L027.
Further discussion, Senator Judah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the amendment. We do, however, already have a definition of loyalty program on page 4 of the bill. I want to stress that you cannot call a discount without a baseline price. And if price surveillance is taking place, that baseline price does not exist. So let's just recenter a little bit and talk about, and remember that, those discounts and all of those things are, they have to be in place first with that baseline. So I ask for a no vote.
Further discussion on amendment L27? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of L27. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The noes have it, and the amendment is lost. To the bill, Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Interesting conversation today about 1210. And I wish it was as simple as it might sound. The bill was introduced in mid-February, and here we are the last week of the session trying to wrap it up. And it's because it's complex. It's trying to, protect consumers. And look, I appreciate the sponsors even touched on it. Like the first, almost half of the bill is definitions and how they interact and tie into one another. Interesting policy conversation. No doubt, eventually part of me is like, stay off the internet. I know that's not a reality, but stay off the internet. Don't do that. Pay with cash. Avoid the swipe fees by paying cash. I know that's not probably a dose of reality, but part of me also says, I think ultimately consumers can drive this. We should be demanding as consumers, not through policy, but strictly through our actions, and recognize those businesses that hold their hand up and say we refuse to use algorithms and price-setting technologies to set our prices. I know that can't happen in probably the course of 2 or 3 years, but ultimately, I think consumers can drive this to a better spot and not do it through policy conversations. And again, appreciate the sponsors. This has been, again, a bill sitting under conversation and debate, I think, in the outside of the floor, off of the floor, again, since mid-February. So I will be in opposition to the bill today, but appreciate really an engaged and interesting conversation today. Thank you.
Senator Kipp.
Thank you, colleagues. I rise in support of 1210, and I have to let you know that I am very frustrated by the numerous one-click emails I have received from people saying, vote no, because I'm going to lose my rewards programs and my discounts. And that is not what this bill is going to do. And I would really actually be very interested to know who is paying to get you to click on that one-click email, because somebody is out to make a lot of money. That's exactly what surveillance pricing does. It's going to say, oh, well, this person over here can afford to pay more. They are in a tight situation. They can afford to pay more at this time. That is unacceptable. That is not okay. That is what this bill is about. This bill is not about taking away your rewards programs. You're putting your information in to the little keypad every time you enter your, phone number or whatever it is for that rewards program. That's your choice. You get to do that. My sister-in-law, she likes to use my phone number because she doesn't want to put her number in. That's totally fine. I'm just saying, I would really be interested in knowing who is paying for those one-click emails, because they're out to make a lot of money if this bill doesn't pass. So I ask for a yes vote.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. I had another thing on my list I wanted to talk about when I got up, and it really has to do with enforceability. So you construct this deceptive trade practice program, but the bill, and I think sponsors will help respond to this, but the bill doesn't clearly identify how you enforce, other than a recognition you grant rulemaking authority to the Attorney General's office. It seems, again, as I try to think through how this system works and how do you potentially track it and identify that it's being used in outside the constraints of the policy, either in prices or wage setting. So interested to hear from the sponsors about enforceability.
Senator Weissman.
Thanks, Madam Chair. And to speak to the questions raised by the senator from Alamosa. So we're in the Consumer Protection Code here. We're in Title VI, Section 1 of the bill, cross wires this new text to the core section of the Consumer Protection Act that the AG would look at. Now, we've piled a lot of potential work on them by way of saying this or that. The Peach Bill earlier this year, that was a consumer protection remedy. I think that office would tell you in no way have we added enough consumer protection attorneys. over there to keep up. So the reality is they will become aware of things either through a web complaint or some other source, and they'll look at it and they'll decide, is there actually a violation going on here? And then the tougher question is, relative to all the other stuff coming in, is this the most needful violation for us to act upon? So enforcement is with the AG per the rest of consumer protection law. To the other line of questioning, super interesting. I mean, we can't really all stay off the internet, can we? But I'll share a story that I heard talking to folks who think about this kind of stuff last summer. Somebody did an experiment. They set up 3 shopping carts at, I think I remember the name, I won't name it here, at a large online retailer. And one, they had an account, there was some purchase history. They bought, let's just say they took 10 things, they put them in the shopping cart. And then a different browser wasn't logged in, but it was the usual browser, and unless any of us is regularly in the habit of clearing our history or whatever, you've got months or years of internet dust behind you, same 10 items. And then third example, privacy browser, DuckDuckGo or one of these things, same 10 items. Which of the 3 shopping carts do you think had the lowest total price? Hint, it wasn't the one where the person was logged in. So I leave that out there for consideration. At any rate, we do have one more amendment to run in the vein of what we spoke of earlier.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 40?
Amendment L40,
Senator
amending this bill.
Weissman.
Thanks, Madam Chair. We move L40 to House Bill 1210.
To the amendment, Senator Weissman.
Members, this is a clarifying amendment we have worked out with banks and others in the lending space. We are adding language in the initial part of the bill where we say that individual price setting is not blank. And then we've labored over this language extensively with banks, with credit unions, with mortgage brokers. For clarity, we cite to different parts of statute that is applicable to each of those entities. We acknowledge that lending, and this is true now, it's been true for hundreds of years, frankly, lending is per se individualized. Whether you're going to get a loan at all, whether you're going to get a modification, on what terms, interest rate, takes in a lot of granular data about us. We've never been about running at that traditional practice of lending. L40 is an attempt to clarify as much. We ask for your support on L40.
Further discussion on amendment L40? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of L40. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. To the bill, further discussion, seeing none, the motion is the adoption of House Bill 1210. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1196?
House Bill 1196 by Representatives English and Joseph and Senator Benavidez concerning tenant data information.
Senator Benavidez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1196 and the local government and housing report.
There is no committee report, so to the bill, please.
All right, we'll go to the bill. Members, this bill does 2 things. It first requires some transparency when the landlord screens tenants, and all it does is ask them to notify, provide a notice to prospective tenants what kind of information and data they're going to be looking at, if they use a third party to collect that. So basically, if you're going to do a criminal background check, a credit report, those kinds of things, and does not require that disclosure of disqualifying information. The second thing is protecting tenants' personal information. Back in 2021, we passed a bill that allowed the courts, or required the courts, to suppress personal information of eviction cases because thousands were being filed and less than half of those were going forward to the actual proceedings. They were dismissed before they were heard. And so as a result, the case is filed, it's out there, even though only a small percentage were ever actually evicted. evicted. And so as a result, their information, personal information is out there. And the bill lists some of that, like even if it's just driver's license, maybe social security number, other things like that, their bank information. They could say, you know, they paid with a check at one point, that kind of information. The courts have, as a result of our 2021 bill, have established rules for their courts as to what the filing of evictions should look like. And so this is really just advising landlords, you need to do this. So to redact those in following your local court's rules. That's all it does. It's a good bill that helps landlords and tenants. I urge a aye vote.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of House Bill 1196. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1224?
House Bill 1224 by Representative Velasco and Basnicker and Senators Cutter and Roberts concerning financial protections for mobile home park residents.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1224.
To the bill, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, glad to be here with the good senator from Jefferson County to present House Bill 1224. What this bill does is improve the mobile home opportunity to purchase program that already exists in law that the legislature created several years ago. The opportunity to purchase has become a valuable tool for many mobile home park residents across the state. We've seen mobile home park residents from Durango to Steamboat to Fort Collins and many other places exercise the right to purchase their park when it went up for sale. Often mobile home park owners own their home but don't own the land underneath it, and so coming together as a community to purchase that park allows that housing to remain affordable and keeps our local workforce close to where they live. As many of you know, mobile home parks are some of the original affordable housing in all of our communities and some of the last remaining naturally occurring affordable housing that doesn't come with government restrictions or government subsidies. So what this bill does is try to improve that process a little bit by extending the timeline slightly, creating more transparency for those residents to know what they're purchasing, and generally give them an equal footing when it comes up for purchase. Nothing about this changes the mobile home park owners or the owner of the park ability to get fair market value for their land and take competitive bids from other buyers, but it just puts the mobile home park residents on a little more equal footing and give them that chance to exercise a good opportunity.
Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm so pleased to be up here with my good colleague from Summit County. And this bill is just about a simple principle that if residents are going to be told they have a chance to compete to buy their community, it should really be a chance, not just theoretical. So they're often trying to organize and inspect a property and understand the finances and line up financings while competing with more sophisticated buyers who do this all the time. So this builds on a framework we already have to strengthen disclosures so residents can actually evaluate what they're being asked to match, protects the due diligence process so residents aren't punished for simply doing what any responsible buyer would do, inspections. Many of us have bought property before. These things are important: inspections, contingencies, financing review. And it addresses a really major practical problem in the market. When parks are sold through bundled or portfolio transactions, residents should not be structurally disadvantaged from the outset. And it also makes it clear that anti-competitive conduct that artificially distorts the sale process has no place here. Residents should be competing in a fair market, not a manipulated one. So I've been really happy to work on some of these issues around mobile home park ownership. We've already seen the resident ownership model work here in Colorado in multiple communities, help stabilize housing and preserve affordability. So it's about just giving residents a fair shot to get there. So hope you can support this with us.
Senadora Gonzalez.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to my colleagues for bringing forward this bill. I do just want to rise in support of this policy because last summer when our Latino caucus took a tour across the state. We sat down and met with the residents of a mobile home park in Glenwood Springs who wanted to seek the time to be able to put together the bid to purchase their own park, because this was not the first time, the second time, or the third time that their park had been put up for sale. And in the aftermath of every time that this park had gone up for sale, new ownership had gone and jacked up the rent and for the lots that these residents were paying for. And so I'm so proud that we were able to respond directly, encourage those residents to thereafter meet with DOLA, and this bill is now the result of that work. I am proud to see when community comes together that we can actually respond in kind. I ask for an aye vote on this bill.
Senator Liston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, members, we heard this bill here a week or so ago in local government. And I too have a lot of mobile home parks in my district, and have probably like a lot of you, I know constituents in that district. I've campaigned in the mobile home parks, and I would agree with the sponsors. It's a unique situation, as we all know. You own the mobile home, but you don't own the land underneath it, and it kind of puts a lot of people in a unique situation. And personally, I don't have a problem with at all with the mobile home park tenants wanting to try and buy the mobile home park, and I commend the sponsors for trying to facilitate that. And with that in mind, I'm just trying to bring some balance and reason to the process. And with that, I do have an amendment.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 8?
Amendment L8, amending gross bill page 6, line 2,
Senator
strike.
Liston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Amendment L008 to House Bill 1224.
To the amendment, Senator.
Very good. Members, what this does, generically, it's a threshold for expense documentation. This amendment seeks to modify the legislation by either striking the requirements for invoices over $500 or increasing that threshold to $5,000. The primary objective is to balance the need for financial transparency with the practicalities of modern organizational management and legal protections. The current $500 threshold is viewed as administratively unworkable, as it triggers a massive volume of documentation for routine, low-value transactions that do not align with the standard commercial record-keeping practices. The rationale behind this, it's for operational efficiency, it's for commercial standards. A $5,000 threshold better aligns with standard micro purchases or simplified acquisition limits, and it gives protection of legal privilege and strategic oversight. This is a reasonable, you don't want to have to turn over volumes of records for low transactions of just $500 or so. So this is a rational amendment, and I would urge an aye vote on Amendment L008.
Further discussion, Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the good senator from Colorado Springs engaging with us on this important policy, but we would request a no vote on L8. This would render one of the main disclosure provisions functionally useless by only requiring disclosure of invoices for bills that are $5,000 or more. Most invoices will be less, and residents need to know what those are, like the cost of operating the park, in order to make an informed offer. So we would urge a no vote.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of Amendment L8. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? No. The noes have it, and the amendment is lost. Senator Liston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, we'll try one more time here. So with that, I have another amendment in mind to try and make this process work on a little more balanced basis.
There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read amendment number 9?
Amendment L9, amend reading gross bill page 12, strike lines 10 and 11, and substitute then half of the registration
Senator
fee.
Liston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Amendment L009 to House Bill 1224.
To the amendment, Senator Liston.
Very good. Members, what this, what Amendment L009 is, deals with is lot fee splitting. The current law states that the mobile home park can charge up to half, just equal, of each side's registration fee to the resident. This is reasonable and fair. This amendment preserves what is already in statute. So, 50-50. If there's different fees or whatnot, we'll pay half and you pay half. That's, what a lot of people do, if they have to take care of expenses, I'll meet you halfway. The mobile home park program, excuse me, having a hard time with my eyes here, was created with a purpose for both the park and the residents benefiting from the program. So, like I say, it just makes sense that this cost should be split evenly. When the mobile home park program recognizes that residents are sharing in the cost of the program, it helps to temper, all the different fee hikes. I could give you an example, a detailed example, but I won't go through that. The idea of this is let's just keep it in current law, keep the fee splitting 50-50. That's nothing unreasonable. It's done under current law right now, and this amendment L009 just preserves what's already in statute. I urge and I vote for L009.
Further discussion? Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the good senator from Colorado Springs for his engagement on this bill. And I appreciate where he's coming from on this amendment. I just wanted to note that this isn't about fees related to the park or living in the park. This is about the registration fee that a mobile home park owner pays to the Division of Local Affairs, Department of Local Affairs, to be a part of the mobile home park ownership program and settle disputes and other things through the department. So they already get a benefit by removing a lot of litigation costs by being a part of this program. And the $17 here was negotiated with DOLA to try to make it fair between the mobile home park owners and the residents. So if we got rid of this $17 provision that's in the bill already, those fees would fall more solely on the mobile home park residents rather than the park owner, who's the one receiving the benefit of the program in the first place. So respectfully ask for a no vote on L9.
Further discussion on L9? Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of L9. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no? The noes have it and the amendment is lost. To the bill. Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the adoption of House Bill 1224. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? The ayes have it and the bill is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1342 until Wednesday, May the 6th.
The motion is to lay over the House Bill 1342 until Wednesday, May the 6th. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? The ayes have it and the bill will be laid over. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no? The ayes have it and the committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Mr. Schaffler, please excuse Senators Kirkmeyer and Marchman. Senator Wallace.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
May 5th, 2026. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report has had under consideration the following attached bills being the second reading thereof and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 167 as amended, passed on second reading in order engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1078 as amended, House Bill 1069 as amended, House Bill 1132 as amended, House Bill 1347, House Bill 1210 as amended, House Bill 1196, House Bill 1224 passed on second reading in order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1342 laid over until May 6, 2026 and retaining its place in the calendar. Senate Bill 68 laid over until May 14, 2026 and retaining its place in the calendar.
Senator Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. President. Excellent work, Mr. Schaffler. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 167 is amended, passed second reading, order gross place count of third reading and final passage. House Bill 1078 is amended, 1069 is amended, 1132 is amended, 1347, 1210 is amended, 1196, 1224. Passed in second reading, order revised place count of third reading and final passage. House Bill 1342 laid over until 5/6/2026, retained its place on the calendar, and Senate Bill 68 laid over until 5/14/2026, retained its place on the calendar. Mr. Schaffler, please excuse Senator Danielson. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to lay over general order second reading of bills calendar till Wednesday, May the 6th.
The motion is to lay over the second reading of the bills calendar to Wednesday, May the 6th. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The second reading of the bills calendar will be laid over to Wednesday, May the 6th. Consideration of House amendments to Senate bills. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to lay over consideration House Amendment of Senate Bills, Senate Bill 12 until Wednesday, May the 6th.
The motion is to lay over Senate Bill 12 to Wednesday, May the 6th. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Senate Bill 12 will be laid over to Wednesday, May the 6th. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 150.
Senate Bill 150 by Senators Ball and Judah and Representatives Froelich and Jackson concerning reforms to the Regional Transportation District to increase accountability.
Senator Judah.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move to concur on House amendments. I know.
All right, tell us.
We approve.
Tell us why you moved to concur.
Thank you, Mr. President. So there were 4 amendments put on. One was a technical amendment making conforming edits to some clarifications. The other adds reporting accountability for RTD to present to the General Assembly. The third strengthens RTD sub-regional service councils. And then finally, just a technical correction. I'm going to ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion of the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 150. Are there any no votes? Senator Zamora Wilson. With a vote of 31 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, 3 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Judah.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of SB 26-150 and ask for a yes vote.
Yeah. The motion is the repassage of Senate Bill 150. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Majority Leader and Mr. Minority Leader and Frizzell. Zamora Wilson. Rich. Benavidez. Baisley. Pelton B. Pelton R. Catlin. Carson. Bright. And Senadora Gonzalez. Any further no votes? With a vote of 19 ayes, 13 no, 0 absent, and 3 excused, Senate Bill 150 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 142.
Senate Bill 142 by Senators Ball and Kipp and Representatives Joseph and Gonzalez concerning the development of thermal energy resources.
Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to concur with the House amendments to Senate Bill 142.
Please tell us why.
Thank you, Mr. President. There were 3 amendments that were adopted in the House, all of them relatively minor. One clarified that wastewater districts are included with the other special districts in the bill. The second amendment just made clear that the bill doesn't alter any existing law about electrical service. And the third amendment aligns this bill with Colorado's Clean Heat statute to confirm that utilities can count the emissions reductions from thermal energy networks in their territory.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 142. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 32 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 3 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 142. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 142.
There
as
you
amended.
go. There you go. Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the repassage of Senate Bill 142 as amended. Are there any no votes? Man, what's going on here? Senator Rich and Zamora Wilson and Baisley and Carson and Peltonar and Liston and Bright and please do not add the president. With a vote of 25 ayes, 7 noes, 0 absent, 3 excused, Senate Bill 142 is repassed. Co-sponsors, Senator Bridges. Committee report.
Committee on Judiciary, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 176 be postponed indefinitely.
Delivery to the governor.
To the governor for signature on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026 at 11:40 a.m. Senate Bill 95, 101, 120, 124, 136, 137, 143, 158, and 159.
Message from the governor.
Honorable members of the Colorado Senate, pursuant to the authority vested in the office of the governor of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to inform you that I have approved and filed with the Secretary of State the following acts. Senate Bill 59, multiple elected offices prohibited for General Assembly. Senate Bill 76, certification and practice of certified public accountants. Senate Bill 104, require key boxes at schools. Senate Bill 105, county executive officer disclosures. Senate Bill 121, overtime threshold for agricultural employees. Senate Bill 128, sales and use tax destination management company. And Senate Bill 153, licensed school counselor credit hour requirements, approved on Monday, May 4th, 2026 at 2:30 p.m. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Announcements. Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to make a quick announcement to wish my wife a happy birthday. I want to be clear, she's 28 today. She's not 40. She's 28. Yes, I did get my hair cut for her birthday, but I just want to wish you a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Commissioner. Senator Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also came to the well to wish Senator Mullica's wife a very happy birthday. Commissioner Mullica, we appreciate you. Actually, the Senate State Affairs Committee will be meeting today at 2 p.m. We will hear House Bill 1287, 1130, and then Senate Bills 108, 168, and 190. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah. Senator Kipp.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Mr. President. As we know, we're in the last, 9 days of session. I'm counting today because, it's still a day. But wanted to let you know that's why our schedule in finance has been a little bit in flux. So today, we will be hearing at 2 p.m. in SCR 357, Senate Bill 183, 191, Senate Bill 183, Senate Bill 191, House Bill 1004, House Bill 1341, House Bill 1233, House Bill 1414, House Bill 1111, House Bill 1206, House Bill 1077, House Bill 1306, and House Bill 1014. We will not be hearing a couple of the bills that made it onto today's calendar when we were trying to schedule last night. So I will tell you that on Thursday, I believe, at some point on Thursday, I don't know when, we are going to be hearing HB 1065, HB 1221, HB 1222, HB 1223, HB 1289. Let me know if you need a copy of the list. But sorry for the fluctuation, but hopefully we got it all under control and we'll have a fun evening. Thank you.
Very good. Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. My wife's birthday is in November, so I never have a chance to wish her a happy birthday from the well. So I just want to say, in advance, happy birthday to my brilliant wife. Thanks, everyone.
Excellent. Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I have a moment of personal privilege?
Now that's how it's done. Senator Henriksen, granted.
Members, tomorrow, May 6th, please join the National Alliance on Mental Illness outside the Old Supreme Court from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. for bagels, pastries, coffee, juice, and conversation to mark Tardive Dyskinesia Awareness Week. Tardive dyskinesia is a movement disorder that causes a range of repetitive muscle movements in the face, neck, arms, and legs. It primarily occurs as an adverse effect associated with use of certain medications, including antipsychotics, medications for nausea, and medications that treat Parkinson's disease. So tomorrow, Wednesday, May 6th, morning outside the Old Supreme Court, they'll be there to raise awareness of tardive dyskinesia and to have food and coffee available for members to join the conversation.
Very good. Further announcements. Senator Mullica, Senator Wallace, and Senator Bridges will all be fined $1 for acknowledging but not asking for a moment of personal privilege to be paid for by the Senate President.
Tony said $5. I think
$1 each because I can't afford it. Mr. Majority Leader or Senator Henriksen. Senator Henriksen, you got to go again?
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Business, Labor, and Technology Committee will be meeting today in Senate Committee Room 352. Senator Bridges, how are you going to know that Business, Labor, and Technology Committee is meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon? We will hear Senate Bill 189, 184, 185, 186, and House Bill 1139 and House Bill 1263.
I want to remind members that all conversation must be directed to the chair or the president, and make sure that that is the most weirdest thing ever to do, because usually when you're talking to everyone, you're talking to me at the same time, but you're not looking at me, and I'm looking at your face on the screen. I don't understand why this works. Senator Liston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I've spoken to the minority leader and the majority leader and asked to be excused this Friday, May 8th. Thank you.
Has this been approved by the minority leader and the majority leader? Yes, sir. Approved. And Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Appropriations will meet tomorrow morning. Oh, I'm sorry. How much does that cost?
Nothing, because you said you're sorry and you corrected it. You still have time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Senate Appropriations will be meeting tomorrow in LSBB, and that's Tuesday's calendar. We'll be meeting at 8 o'clock, and we will hear the bills that are on the calendar.
Excellent work. Further.
But just to be clear, we're meeting at 8 a.m. 8 a.m.
8 a.m. All right, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, colleagues, for the work today. We will be recessing as we need to read bills across the desk. There's no need to return. On that, Mr. President, I move the Senate recess until 1 p.m. today.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will be in recess until 1 p.m. today.